I met my ex-husband again after 5 years and realized how much I miss him. Now he wants to reconnect, and I'm not sure what to do. Posted by you/confused Smithrow. I, 36F, went to my best friend's Christmas/her husband's birthday party on the 24th and met my ex, 38M, there for the first time since our divorce. Apparently, he is one of my BFF's husband's co-workers. He didn't know I would be there and was as surprised as I was. We made some small talk, and then I hopped over to chat with another friend. During the evening, we bumped into each other a couple of times. He made some jokes, but most of the time, I tried to avoid him. Yesterday, my best friend sent me a screenshot in which my ex asked her husband for my number in case I wanted him to have it, because he wanted to ask me out. The thing is, nobody in this city knows that we were once married. When I moved here 5 years ago from the other side of the country, I never mentioned my divorce. He didn't either. So now my friend and her husband want to hook us up because you seem to have such great chemistry at the party. Another thing is that I never realized how much I missed him until he entered the room. Our relationship was a mistake. We got married because we were the only unmarried couple in our social circle, and everybody else was already having babies. The divorce was inevitable, our communication was rubbish, I wanted kids, he didn't, at least not as soon as possible, his mom was meddling, and he didn't stand up to her. At the same time, we were really good friends, and meeting him again made me more than happy. But I had a chat with my cousin, 32F, and her husband, who are spending Christmas and New Year's Eve with me, and they told me not to overreact. That feeling nostalgic about what could have been is natural during the holidays. So now I'm debating whether to meet him, talk to him, and be done for good, but the risk of catching feelings again is high. He did look better than 5 years ago and finally left his hometown to work for his dream business, something I told him to do years ago. Am I exaggerating or overreacting? What should I do? Update 20 days later. After posting, I really wanted to answer your comments, but I got distracted. However, I read them, thought about them, and applied some. This is what happened. Shortly after posting and before replying to my best friend's message, I ran into my ex at the supermarket. We had a short talk, everything was collegial, and since I didn't want to jump to conclusions without talking to him, we went for coffee afterward. Long story short, we agreed to stay on friendly terms for our own good. He admitted that he felt extremely sentimental after our last meeting, and I admitted feeling both giddy and panicky at the same time. He apologized for things he did and didn't do during our marriage, mainly not defending me against his mother, with whom he no longer has any contact. Then we discussed our friends. Some people in my original post asked why I never told my best friend about my failed marriage. The reason is that, although she might be one of the kindest people I know, she is quite religious, I'm not, and extremely against divorce. In her eyes, you should sacrifice your happiness for the benefit of others, so getting a divorce is the coward's way out. To her, it means you don't deserve love. Her mother-in-law treats her like scum, and her husband stays quiet because she is glad that her mother-in-law gave her the most important thing in her life, so she endures the rants and boundary stomping. Telling her about my divorce would have resulted in one of two scenarios: A, she'd never talk to me again because I killed the idea of marriage, or B, she'd try to get me back with my husband. A few days ago, one of these scenarios happened. I had told her earlier that I wasn't interested in giving my ex my number. I already had. Neither she nor her husband knew, because I wasn't looking for a relationship. I actually am not. Last March, my last relationship ended due to his cheating and my unwillingness to forgive. She accepted that and invited me for brunch the next Saturday, one of our traditions. Sunday comes, and my ex calls me to ask whether I was going to my best friend's brunch. He had gotten an invitation. So we were both there, sitting next to each other, while my best friend and her husband tried their very best to get us interested in each other. It felt like a scene from a really bad movie, like that one in When Harry Met Sally when they go on a double date. Subtle remarks about what we have in common, hints about our compatibility, and poorly masked comments about my unsuccessful love life, until my best friend's husband said, "As far as I know my name, she would probably make a great wife. My mom likes her, best friend's mom loves her, she's every mother's dream." And my ex responded, "Well, my mother used to call her that woman and constantly pointed out all her shortcomings until I believed them. Actually, she even admitted to hating her. But in hindsight, she really was a great wife." Crickets. My ex and I looked at each other and burst out laughing, probably due to the pressure and extreme awkwardness of the situation. My best friend and her husband joined in. For a moment, they believed my ex was joking. Then my best friend said, "We are so sorry for pressuring you. It's just that we like you both and think you'd make a great couple." And my ex took out his effing phone, showed them a picture of our wedding day. Why the F was that even there? Because he had sent me some pictures that my dear ex-mother-in-law had withheld from me, and said, "We did. But it didn't work out, and we're friends now. Who wants to go to the cinema? Chaos ensued. Worldviews shattered. My best friend started crying. Her husband was flabbergasted. They asked us to leave so they could readjust. Yesterday, I spoke to my best friend on the phone and explained everything thoroughly: the abuse by my mother-in-law, the arguments, the incompatibilities, the mutual decision to end it, and my fear of telling her. She silently cried for my future and said, "You are already so old," and threw away your only chance at happiness. No wonder you don't find love, you threw it away. It won't come back. Your future with your ex is riddled with betrayal. If you get back together, you can never mend what you tore apart. What will you tell any future partner? I cannot understand how you could do that. You always seem so compassionate. Why couldn't you understand the pain of your mother-in-law? She lost her son to you. You did not respect her wishes and did not listen to her. I'm sure she loved you like a daughter, but you were not ready. That's when I said goodbye, hung up, and started questioning my 5-year friendship. I talked to my mom, my cousin, and even my ex, who had a similar but less emotional talk with my best friend's husband, who doesn't even speak to him at work anymore. They all recommend giving my best friend some space. I feel worse than after my last breakup. Edit. After reading all of your comments, I decided to end the friendship. I didn't sleep well, so I spent all night writing down what bothered me so that, if she dares to talk to me again, I have the right arguments. Regarding her possible frustration/projection, I really acted as her therapist for the whole 5 years of our friendship and now realize how codependent and slightly toxic this relationship actually was. This is something I have to get over, and though I'm a rather introverted social mess, I really need to look for new friends who are not as prejudiced. I told one of my colleagues the Cliff's Notes version of the conflict, and she, divorced and remarried, told me to join her feminist knitting and sewing group, so yay, first step. X has a similar problem now. My friend's husband told their mutual friend group that X had loose morals and might be a bad influence. Because this is kindergarten, some of them blocked X on social media, some asked him what crime he committed, and only one told him that A, BF's husband is extremely overreacting, and B, he still wants to hang out with X no matter what. So we're now in the same find friends boat. My friend's husband actually asked his boss this morning if he could arrange it so that he wouldn't have to share an office with X anymore. So yeah, they are also cutting ties. And to the comments asking which culture we/they belong to, we're all generic Europeans. X friends just belong to a strange Christian church, Protestant, not even Catholic.